Welcome in to Hit That Line, the Legal Gambling Council. I'm your host, Zach Barry. You can see we've got Mr. Austin Gray over there, week two, as we kind of combined the week zero, week one slates because I kind of noticed a lot of people were doing that. And we had some picks that overlapped on the show a couple weeks ago. But Austin, I kind of went back through the archives. This was probably our worst week in 2 years, give or take.
Yeah.
Last year was people remember was pretty lights out. We rarely had a bad week last year, which that's what you have to do if you want to get 195 wins. But um, yeah, it was one to forget. You led the way with you went 4-4. Ben was 3-4. I was 3-7. Nick was 2-6. We didn't hit any of our money line picks, which, those are always just kind of really spraying the board there.
Tarleton wins outright. I talked about it for 5 minutes last week and then didn't bet it, and they end up winning outright against Army. So lesson learned there. Yeah, dude, we got to do some self scouting because week one was not not great.
I was definitely the douchebag at the bar, which literally I was at our neighborhood bar that we built.
Mm.
And during that game, I'm telling all the other dads, I'm like, "Oh man, on the podcast, like one of the guys called this," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm the white guy at the bar that's like on my podcast."
I got the money line. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, but
dude,
it's
but
true. It's true. And by the
yeah,
way, I heard no other podcast talking about that last week, so I can't take credit for it because I didn't bet it, but I told y'all don't be surprised.
yeah. Um, yeah, honestly, like all jokes aside, kind of weird to see an Army team get kind of thrown around like that because Army
Yeah,
can typically put it on teams like that. They kind of
yeah.
grind you into dust, but hats
Especially
off.
with weeks to prepare. They had weeks to prepare
Oh
for
yeah,
Tarleton, who had already played a game. And Tarleton presumably didn't have a lot of time to prepare for the triple, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
yeah,
They've got some dudes on that side of the ball, man. I don't know if they play another P4, P5 team this year, but if they do, circle that one.
yeah. It was because I mean we pretty much watched it from start to finish. Um, but dude, I'm trying to oh, what was his name? Dude, the Texans, the Tarleton State Texans. They got a running back that is not bad. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's got a lot of eligibility left, but Trey Page the third, number zero. He's from Atlanta. Yeah, he had a pretty good game. 89 yards, had a touchdown. He had a buck 70 and two scores against Portland State. So yeah,
Dude, do you know who Tarleton plays this weekend?
I was just about to look. Is it Mississippi Valley?
It is Valley.
God,
Poor Valley.
dude, if you can find a line, lay them.
Oh my God. It's got to be like 35, 38.
Yeah, they all have G5 FCS opponents the rest of the way.
From this point forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna monitor that. If there's some weeks where I don't have any picks, if I can find a line, I'm gonna.
It may be a dart throw FCS future champion. Wonder what the
Yeah.
number is.
Um. So yeah, we can do a quick week one recap. Look, I wasn't alone. A lot of people were wrong about Texas and Arch Manning. Um, it's also a weird game too because Texas's defense was lights out.
Lights out,
Ohio
dominant.
State could not
And
do anything.
I think that got lost in the memes. And look, they were great, whatever. Like Twitter's was on fire during that game. But Texas's defense might be the best in the country. And I know Ohio State held them to fewer points than Texas held Ohio State. I get that. And by the way, I said there was a huge downgrade from Knowles to Patricia, and he absolutely embarrassed me on that take.
Hmm.
Um, he had a great game plan for Arch. They were ready. They still got blue chip talent. Let's not lose sight of the fact that
Yeah.
Ohio State has no shortage of talent. But Patricia had a really good game plan. And Arch looked, you know, rusty. Might not be the appropriate word given that he didn't really start many games last year. Did he start at all last year? One game maybe.
He started one. Mississippi State.
Okay.
I can't remember if he started ULM or just came in for Ewers when he got a little nicked up. But
Yeah. He stumbled
one,
out of the blocks for sure. But as the game wore on, I thought Arch did get better. Now, I don't think he was good enough to overcome, the sort of the early hole they had dug themselves.
yeah,
Uh, but I do think he uh, played well. Again, Wells probably overstating the case, putting it too strongly. But I saw him grow up a little bit, I think, during the game. So we'll see. I'm not burying the dude yet. Like, that's one thing for all of these games, by the way. We should say that as a caveat at the outset. Don't overreact. This is week one. It's one data point. So Arch
yeah.
went on the road to play maybe the most talented roster in football, second most talented roster in football in their place
Hmm.
against, an NFL staff, a former NFL head coach and defensive coordinator in Matt Patricia. And he made him look like a first year starter. Like,
Hmm. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Texas is still going to be there at the end, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Arch is going to be fine. And like you said, I think second half, Sark went tempo a lot more. I think that
Mhm.
helped him get in a rhythm. There were a couple plays early that I thought that he would definitely. I'm sure he's watched the film by now, and he's probably like, damn, like I really wanted that one back. Like that early, one of the early fourth downs, he could have pulled it and ran for a while. There was
Yeah.
nobody over there.
Oh, and he missed some looks early, some easy throws, some layups. He did, but I
Yeah,
thought Sark got a little overprotective, got a little too conservative, and kind of took the ball out of his hands.
I didn't
I,
like that.
yeah, I didn't need it. And again, Sark makes a lot more money than I do, and I'll never call a football game in that environment. But I just felt like give the kid the keys to the Lamborghini, let him drive it.
Yeah. Again, the good thing, like I've been telling Texas fans this week, the defense is absurd.
Lights out. Yeah.
Ohio State barely had 200 yards like total offense. They only ran for 77. They were below 3 yards a carry. Um,
And weren't they shadowing Jeremiah Smith with like a freshman, true freshman?
Grayson Littleton
Yeah.
like he had some really big time
Yeah.
plays. Malik Muhammad was also on him. He did a great job. I think he only had 6 catches for like 43 yards.
Mhm.
Um, so they did a good job. But yeah, it's one game. I think another thing for Texas, pretty much their entire defensive line outside of Colin Simmons and Ethan Burke are transfers, and all of those dudes played well. So um, you got to feel good about that in the trenches. So yeah, it's a long season. Texas is going to be just fine. Um,
Had they opened with virtually any other team in the country, they would have found a way to win the game just because the defense,
yeah.
even
Oh
with
yeah.
Arch's subpar performance, kept them in the game. I mean, people act like it was like a 35-3 loss. Like Texas had a shot to tie the game late.
Yeah. Outgained them.
Yeah.
I mean, but you tip your cap, Matt Patricia, that defense, and then Julian Sayin had some big throws. Texas got some third downs, and he made a couple big throws to Jeremiah Smith, Cardinal Tate. Like he was making some throws. So yeah, I was wrong on that one, and by God, you, Ben, Nick, we were all wrong about Florida State, Alabama. Good God.
Dude, that I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in terms of my expectation versus reality and how it played out. I I think Alabama's in trouble, man. Again, I'm saying don't overreact to week one, but what I saw, I'm not used to seeing from an Alabama team. Like you see that from certain programs over the years where when the other team wants it more and starts to physically dominate, they quit, they give up. Dude, Bama quit. They quit.
Yeah. I
I thought
mean,
Ty Simpson played okay. I thought he did all he could.
yeah.
But there were moments in that game where they had, I mean, everybody's seen the clips on Twitter by now. Defenders loafing, jogging to the ball, seemingly not wanting any contact. I could not believe the degree to which Florida State just took the fight to Bama. I mean, just punched them in the mouth and kept hitting them. And Bama didn't respond.
Yeah. Man, it was, and look, Gus was in his bag.
He was,
It-
man. He levels up when he plays Bama. I don't know why we didn't like we've forgotten that. But when the dude sees Bama on the other sideline, he gets superpowers.
he might have the most wins, like a head coach with the most wins against Alabama.
He has to.
Like
Has to.
he's got a
I mean, I guess
quarterback.
Well, if you talk about Saban's Bama, Tuberville probably from back in the
True.
day,
True, yeah.
but Saban's Bama.
Yeah. Castellanos seems to be perfect for that offense.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was impressive. I'm not gonna wave the white flag for DeBoer yet because
no,
again, one game, long season, but
yeah.
yeah, they gotta have some tough conversations in that locker room after watching that film.
I'll say this too, dude. We missed some variables that I just didn't consider when handicapping that game and expecting Bama to roll over them. I didn't really think about the Florida State being excluded from the playoffs angle and Bama getting their spot, 2 years ago. And then you welcome them in to your newly renovated stadium with Gus Malzahn as your offensive coordinator. I mean, it was sort of a perfect storm for Florida State to at least hang in the game. I'm
Yeah.
not saying we should have expected the result that we saw, but maybe we should have given Florida State a little more credit to hang around. But they fucking did a lot more than hang around.
Yeah, man. As far as the rest of week two, um, I mean LSU, kudos to LSU, went to
Yeah,
Clemson, whipped them. K Klubnik, uh, I don't want to say he looked like Arch Manning, but I mean he was out of sorts.
yeah,
Blake Baker and that defense looked like they had a plan. I mean that's the thing with these week one games, right? Where you have a whole offseason to prepare.
yeah,
So there's times when you have that, when you've got teams that have kind of like that oh shit moment where they're not ready. And then
mhm,
on the other side, that team, I mean, they're chomping at the bit. They've been ready
yeah,
for 8 months. So um, got to give credit to LSU to go up there. Clemson doesn't lose a lot there. Um, that's another thing we talked about the the crazy stat about Sark and how he's won so many true road games.
mhm.
Dude, the crazy thing about Ohio State, and I heard somebody, I cannot remember for the life of me, I'd give them credit if I could remember. So I was listening to a podcast where they were like, um, nobody wins at the horseshoe other than Michigan.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if
true.
it's not Michigan, Ohio State's winning it when they're at home.
Do you
Uh,
remember? So who beat them a few years back? The one game that stands was it Oregon went in there and beat them 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
that sounds right.
It was
Um,
before Oregon joined the Big Ten.
yeah, but yeah, I mean
But that's
that
the only other team I can even think of.
yeah. Um, I mean, what I can't remember if that Illinois team that had Juice Williams, Rashard
Yeah,
Mendenhall.
yeah.
I can't remember if that was on the road or not. I think it was at Ohio State.
Really, I don't remember.
I
May have
think it
been.
was like Aurelius Ben.
Yeah.
That was a Ron Zook Illinois team. Who thought we'd make a Ron Zook Illinois reference on this podcast? Um,
Back to LSU Clemson. I don't know that I learned very much about LSU. I think they're kind of what I expected. I think if anything, I'm holding my LSU stock, but I'm selling some Clemson stock. To me, they underperformed. They underachieved. They did not. When they go toe to toe with teams of comparable talent, they tend
mhm,
to struggle, and that's exactly what happened last weekend. I thought you saw a Clemson team shrink in the moment
mhm.
more so than you saw an LSU team rise above and find another gear. I mean, again, people are treating that like it was a blowout, and I know LSU had a touchdown taken off the board, but it was it was a fairly sort of pedestrian performance, in my opinion, from LSU. I didn't see anything that I said, "Holy shit!" I didn't know LSU had that
Yeah,
guy or could do that. Their defense did look decent, but I'm not ready to I don't know that they're a top three, top four unit in the SEC.
yeah. A lot of people crowning LSU. And look, we talked about this earlier today. I know this is for engagement and just to get people talking, but we got to stop doing this September Heisman stuff and the September national champion stuff. I mean, just
Mhm.
there's been tons of people that have said for years, like, just don't do a poll until like week 6.
Mhm.
Like, none of this early shit really matters. Like, you don't really learn a lot about a team until midway through September, October. Um, and I'm not trying to take away from LSU winning because I mean a dominant win,
No, they won the game, yeah.
but
And what
just
it
like,
did, what it does, it buys them the wiggle room to lose two
yep,
games in conference now.
yep,
So, more than anything, they've got a leg up in the playoff race. They can drop a road game at Bama or a road game in Oxford and be okay.
yeah. Um, all right. Is there anything else from week two that we need, or from uh week one that we need to talk about? I can't.
Utah,
Yeah, they look good. Devin
dude, they
Dampier.
act. Oh my God, they rolled over UCLA.
Yeah, that was a late game that it was on in the bar, and we were kind of all just enjoying the night. And I would kind of peek over every night, like, and I was basically like wanting to see if like UCLA had scored,
Yeah,
because man, but yeah, Dampier and Utah, you kind of know what you're getting in the trenches there. I mean, Utah's gonna be able to,
yeah.
if they can mow you down, that's what they're gonna do. And then now they've got a quarterback that can move and is dangerous. I bookmarked that one.
After seeing the rest of the Big 12,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hit Utah plus 400 to win the Big 12. I feel like plus 400 is a pretty. I mean, look, it's a pretty attractive number. Who's your competition at this point? It's not Colorado.
No.
I don't think Iowa State has the horses. Kansas State has looked like shit. So who are we
Yeah.
talking about? Texas Tech? Is that?
Maybe Spunky.
I guess
Oh,
Arizona State. We'll see.
one thing we can talk about, because I was wrong on this one. I think everybody else was right, but Baylor, man,
Man,
got to do some tackling drills. Um,
interior defensive line. They got absolutely chewed up by Auburn's
got
offensive line.
got mauled.
And Freeze, to his credit, did not get cute. He didn't do the wide
No.
receiver toss pass, the double reverse. He just kept running the ball. I could not believe on that. Was it fourth and short or third and short for the game? Basically, everybody in Waco and everybody watching on television knew that Jackson
Oh,
Arnold was going to run the football, except David Aranda apparently, and he
just
runs zone read up the gut.
yeah, just a quarterback power read. He was never going to hand it off,
Never.
and every Baylor defender went with the motion. Um,
Crazy.
yeah. So again, one game, but Auburn looked pretty good. Jackson Arnold had a good game. I said it when we were like in our group chat during the game. Jackson Arnold can't play like that every week, or he's
No, no, no.
going
He's
to
he's gonna be
die.
on the shelf. Yeah, he's gonna be on the shelf. Uh, he still didn't look great throwing the ball. I mean, they won the game. He did what they needed him to do, but Freeze seemed to be a little conservative in the passing game, and maybe Baylor just never got out of that too high shell, and that's why they didn't trust him to air it out at all. But
Yeah,
if you're counting on Jackson Arnold to run the ball that much in conference play, good luck.
yeah, not great. All right, so let's get into week two here. We'll talk some of the big ones first, and then obviously we'll get into our picks. If really burying the lead here, Nick and Ben are not with us. Nick a little under the weather, heading to Lexington this weekend, so he's trying to get on the mend for that. And then Ben is not with us, but I know we'll get some picks from Nick. We'll definitely get some picks from Ben at some point. If we do get them before the show, then we'll let you know. All right, so week two, let's jump in here. Illinois at Duke. We have got Duke is getting 3 points right now. So Illinois handing out three. I see 2.5. Um, I'm I might circle back here. I kind of want to lay them with Illinois.
If you give me 2.5, I'm locking in Illinois.
Yeah, the three, and especially like a three with a hook. No, I
No,
think
I need the 2.5.
yeah. The thing about Duke is I know Mensa's a good quarterback,
Mhm.
and you know Manny Diaz in the defense. They're going to be solid at best. I mean, they're not going to be great. They're not going to beat themselves. All that cliche stuff, but. Um, Duke still needed a little more than three quarters to put it on Elon. Um, Darian Minsa was good. He was efficient. Um, I kind of like Illinois better though. Just I kind of feel like Illinois is just going to have better players in the trenches, and I feel like this is a game that Burt is just going to hammer somebody. Um,
Yeah,
Luke
I agree.
Altmaier's like I don't know if there's a quarterback that fits a system and a school better than Luke Altmaier. I don't know why. He just feels like he is the Illinois quarterback. Um, yeah,
He's, not to take anything away from him, he's kind of a game manager. That's what Burt wants, right? That's what
sure,
Bielema wants.
sure,
Don't throw the game away. If I need you to make a throw late to a tight end or back out of the backfield, I need you to do that and execute it properly. Otherwise, don't turn the ball over. Do what you're supposed to do. I
yeah,
think you nailed it with your take on the trenches. I think this is a mismatch, both on the offensive line and defensive line for Illinois. I think Illinois may have the second or third best defensive line in the Big Ten, and Duke doesn't have even a top half defensive line in the ACC. I think that's a very one sided fight. I trust Altmaier, I think, more than Mensa at this point in his career. Again, they're not going to ask Altmaier to do a lot, but I do think if you expect Duke to win, you're going to need Mensa to have a really good game. Like he
yeah.
can't afford to be a game manager.
Duke's
Um,
gonna have to get this one in the 30s to win,
mm, yeah,
and I
and they
think
play with tempo
yeah, the number I think is 49 and a half. If Illinois wins, I'm thinking an under,
for sure. Exactly. Styles make fights. If
like a
Illinois
like a
wins this game,
35-10.
yeah.
Like
If Illinois wins, it's going to look like a Big Ten game. If they win the game, it's
yeah.
going to look like, Burt's going to slow it down. They're going to win, 24-13 or something.
And one thing I remember, so at the I keep referencing it. It's probably going to be a thing. It's going to be a theme because we built a bar in our neighborhood. I'll be there all year. But one of the guys, one of the founders, is an Illinois fan, and that number last week, I don't remember what it was. It was big, and I was like, man, I don't think they can cover that just because of how Burt is. And dude, they beat the dog shit out of Western Illinois, 52-3, covered. Um, Altmaier breaking in some new receivers. It was
Mhm.
almost like they got a chance to run some 7-on-7, create some chemistry there. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. I'll ride with you. Let's lock in Illinois 2.5.
Two and a half.
I
Yep.
feel pretty good now that we've talked through it. Um, Another big one. Speaking of the Big Ten, Iowa at Iowa State, El Assico, the Cyhawk. This one's always weird. Um, I like Iowa. I think the Gronowski pickup was great for Iowa to bring them into to this generation of
The,
football.
the 21st century.
Yeah. Yeah, the South Dakota State kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was fun as hell to watch when he was at South Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of like Iowa here. I'm not going to touch it just because the game is always so weird. It wouldn't shock me if Iowa kind of put it on Iowa State. And I know Iowa State had the big win in Ireland, and they just kind of quietly go about their business. Matt Campbell, it seemed like a couple years ago, his head was on the chopping block, and now, oh, by the way, they won 11 games last year. Um,
Yeah.
I,
With
I don't,
two 1,000-yard receivers. I bet, like, how many people
yeah,
know that? Like
that's
Iowa
crazy.
State won last year by chunking it around, not the way that you would expect them to win.
Right. Um, I don't know. This is just kind of one of those like gut weird feeling games where I just feel like Iowa, even though it's on the road, I feel like Iowa can get it done.
It's a coin toss for me. I'll say this. I had a little more respect for Iowa State. Well, certainly after Ireland, they beat what we thought was a decent K State team. But then they come home and they just handle business. No hangover. They're not sleepy at all. They go out there, put their boots on their throats. It was the FCS team, right, or somebody. It was terrible. But the point being, they didn't sleepwalk through it at all. Unlike K State, who had just come back from Ireland and barely survived their week two
Yeah.
matchup. So I think I was impressed by Iowa State's sort of business-like approach. They're really buttoned up, man. I think Rocco Beck maybe one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the country. I think he has no future in the NFL, nothing like that. I just mean his ability to will his team to wins. He sacrifices his body. Like the guy goes all out for them.
I'm
He
trying
doesn't
to
have as many weapons.
I'm trying to think of who he reminds me of. Which not a great comparison because I'm pretty sure Matt Flynn played in the NFL for a little bit, but he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
for a
Matt
little while.
Flynn at LSU.
Yeah. I mean, nothing about his
Ooh,
measurables jumps off the page to you at all.
yeah. Talk about putting your body on the line. I was gonna say Mackenzie Milton at UCF.
Yeah. God, that guy.
That dude,
Uh,
that dude was like ride or die for the
crash
name.
test dummy. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Uh, so yeah, I like Beck, man. Again, I don't think he's super talented, doesn't have a big arm, nothing like that. But now he's an older guy, veteran, and he sort of just finds ways to win, man. Now, having said that, I think Iowa's roster is still probably better than Iowa State's top to bottom. Um, Defensively, Iowa's pretty impressive. They always are impressive on that side of the ball. Um, so I think it's going to be your typical Elastico, man, where it's like, 13-10, somebody, just an
yeah,
awful game to watch. And it's going to come down to like a special team screw up or, you know, whoever turns the ball over late.
yeah.
Um,
Typically does.
yeah, just a coin toss, though. It'll be interesting because it always is, but it'll also be like 0-0, like, late second quarter. It feels like nothing has happened the entire half.
Yeah, yeah. Um, all right. Let's get into a little bit of meat of the schedule here. Um, well, this one's got a little meat on the bone. SMU hosting Baylor. Baylor trying to bounce back. SMU had, you know, a year for the ages last year, getting in the playoff. Um, man, Baylor showed some things. They had a little spunk. I mean, Michael Trigg had himself a, even though he dropped like three or four, he still had a great game.
Yeah.
Um,
Could have had a legendary game if you just catch the ball.
yeah, I think SMU might just mow them down. Um, Rhett Lashley's going to want to run the football. He's going to want to run tempo. Um, Sawyer Robertson was kind of okay last week.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of running for his life. I mean, the line right now is,
It's only 2.5, isn't it?
yeah, I was gonna say it's three, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. Um, yeah, I would lay them with SMU. I think Baylor's gonna fall to 0-2. Um, Weirdly enough, I think SMU has the better team.
So the question is, can SMU do to Baylor what Auburn did to Baylor? I'm a little skeptical. I don't know. I think Auburn's talent on the lines of scrimmage is better than they were probably given credit for in the offseason. Um, at the same time, I don't know, man. At Baylor, they just got dominant. They just got chewed up late in that game.
Yeah.
Their interior D lineman could do nothing against the run. Um, Lashley almost certainly is going to try to follow that blueprint.
Yeah.
Uh, so I don't know. Hey, it's at SMU, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I was going to look at the total here, but it's gotten away from me a little bit. I don't think I can go quite that high. So I'm going to stay
It could be a
away.
shootout.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because if Baylor can't stop anybody or can't stop the run, SMU is going to go tempo, going to lean on the run. And then I assume that will open up play action for Jennings to take some shots downfield. Uh, Unlike Auburn, which did not go downfield. Um, and I think Baylor can look, like you said, Trick played well. Baylor's got some receivers. They got some weapons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, so, can they get into the 30s to keep up with SMU? It's like 38, 33, something like that.
Mm. Yeah. I don't know if I'd touch this game, but I lean SMU.
Yeah.
Um, all right, we got a couple more before we get into the only ranked on ranked matchup this week, and then we'll get to our locks. Um, let's go to, where is it? I was just looking at it. Okay, this one's kind of fun, and I'm gonna go ahead and lock it in. We have Oklahoma State traveling to Oregon. And my goodness, Oklahoma State looks like it could be in trouble. Um,
Quarterback got hurt, right? Didn't they lose their starter last week?
yeah, the freshman Haas Haney,
Yeah.
I think he broke a bone in his foot, I think. Um, which is a bummer because I was looking forward to seeing him play this year because he was a lot of fun in high school. Um, I man, I'm gonna lay him with Oregon.
What are you like, 28?
28 and a half.
Okay. So you think they just fucking
I
destroy
do.
them?
I do.
Yeah.
Dante Moore looked really good last year or last week.
He
And
did.
this is a guy that people if you remember, um, started at UCLA, transferred to Oregon and opted he did it in knowing that he was going to sit for a year. So first year starter, but
Behind
like
Gabriel. Yeah.
he's been there. Like he knows what he's doing
Mhm.
now. Um, I just feel like Dan Lanning's gonna just try to really put a number on him.
Especially after the back and forth this week. Like before the comments about Oregon buying players, basically, I didn't think that Lanning would have any motivation to hang a number on Gundy. In fact, I thought he might even take it easy on him. But now, after that whole back and forth,
Yeah.
I think he may be motivated to put 50 on them.
Yeah, it's at Autzen. Yeah, I think because look, I mean, with college football playoff, like you need to get these games and you need to
Yep.
make statements. Um, yeah, I like Oregon here big. I think it's going to get ugly. Um, all right, last one before we talk about the big one. Let's go number 20, Ole Miss traveling to Kentucky, 2:30 ABC. Dude, I think Ole Miss rolls. Um, it's not the same defense as last year, but Pete Golding had those dudes flying around last week. And I know it was Georgia State, so it's going to be a little different. But my God, Zach Calzada was so bad last week. And the quotes from Kiffin this week talking about we've spent a lot of time on them. We heard that quote a couple years ago after Georgia, and we saw what happened to Ole Miss Georgia last year. Um, he made a similar comment before Tennessee game with Matt Corral a couple years ago, and Ole Miss was really well prepared for that game. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this is one where Kiffin's had it circled because I mean we all know why. Ole Miss is in the playoff if you just beat Kentucky. Um, I know these games have been close. I mean, the last three have been settled by three or less. Um, Ole Miss has kind of quietly dominated Kentucky since I think 2000, almost 7-3 against Kentucky. Um, Now, all three of those wins for Kentucky were when Ole Miss was ranked, which is pretty wild. Um, but it's Kroger Field is not some fortress. People go there and win. So I don't think that's going to be anything crazy to deal with. It's an afternoon game, so it's not going to be a night game. I don't think Kroger Field gets rowdy, but I mean it's going to be in the middle of the day. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else. I don't think I need to say anything else. I just think Ole Miss is the better team, and I think Kiffin likes this early opportunity. I think he likes having Kentucky and Arkansas this early. Yeah, I think Ole Miss rolls. I'd lay the points.
So I rewatched the game last week a couple of times. My reaction to our offensive line play in real time, I was as negative as anybody. I've got the text to prove it with y'all and others. But on rewatch, I think the offensive line actually got its feet under them in the second half and performed better down the stretch. I think maybe it just took the new guys time to gel, to
Hmm.
find their footing. I know some of that's cliche, but I think it really is true with offensive line. I think it really does matter. it matters that you've played with the guy to your left and right before, unlike any other position. I think it actually does matter.
Hmm.
Um, and I thought we tightened up on the interior as the game wore on. We started protecting Simmons better, established the run down the stretch. Um, Lacey looked really good, man. Good
Yeah.
burst, good vision for a guy that is as light as he is, 210 pounds or whatever he is. The dude fights for yards and falls forward like a big back. Uh, I thought Diggs came in there late. I know it's probably against their backups, but Diggs showed some burst that I didn't
Yeah.
think he had. Um, and then the kid from Troy, the transfer, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. I thought he played well.
Damian Taylor,
Um,
yeah, ran
yeah,
well.
I thought he played well. He didn't get a ton of carries, but I thought he had a good showing.
Mm.
And of course, Simmons had, the one just sort of brain cramp where he stared his receiver down, threw it over the middle, paid for it. The other, he got hit. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
I'll
And,
say
and
this though,
Kiffin
we
and Kiffin
can't.
was adamant that if he completes it, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, right. So that can't happen this week, though. I think it's good to get those out of the way against Georgia State, but we can't give the ball away against Kentucky at their place and what will probably be, like you said, it's not going to be the most hostile environment we see all year. But I also expect, it's going to be certainly more hostile than the Vault was Saturday, going on the road in conference play
Yeah.
against a team that beat you last year. So you can't let a team that you're better than, and we are unequivocally better than Kentucky. You can't let them hang around with turnovers. Look, that's part of what bit us last year with Kentucky. Untimely turnovers. There's never a good time for a turnover, but we're driving, fumble the ball in the red zone. You can't have shit like that and get away with it on the road with a young team. So
Hmm.
I think Simmons needs to play a pretty clean game for us. I think our receivers, I think Kentucky feels good about their secondary versus our receivers, but I think they're a little, I think that's a little misleading. I think if they're basing it on last year's performance, I think that's misleading because we tried to force feed Trey Harris at the expense of everybody else last year
Yeah.
in that game, especially in that game, particularly if Dart wasn't throwing to Harris, like it's like he didn't see anybody else, right? Like
Hmm.
he was tucking and running. This year, we don't have that guy. Fortunately, I think it's a good thing
Hmm.
because I think we're going to spread the ball around quite a bit. I think Simmons is going to play point guard. I don't think they can cover our receivers. I just think he needs time to throw to them.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side, I expect them to try to establish the run. They got the kid from Mississippi, the Nebraska transfer. Um, he looked good last week against Toledo. But I'll say this, man. I watched a lot of that game just in preparation for Kentucky this week. Toledo was awful on offense.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Oh,
awful.
just hapless.
Terrible. And it wasn't just because Kentucky was suffocating. It's because Toledo is terrible on offense. I mean, I think that had more to do with Toledo than it did Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I don't really take much from Kentucky's defensive performance last week. I think a Mark Stoops team is always going to be solid on defense, but if we can block them up on the interior, I like our chances to get into the 30s here. Now they're going to try everything they can to stop it. They're going to slow the pace down. They're going to run the
Hmm.
ball like he always does. I just think with Kiffin game planning in the offseason, with our weapons on the outside, with a revamped run game, I think we can get into the 30s. I don't think Kentucky's going to be able to keep up. Games are usually tighter than 10 with Kentucky. They usually play within one possession either way. But I'm kind of leaning your way, man. I think this could be like 31-13 Rebs.
Yeah. And one thing I did like, I saw this week, Bryson Sanders, the center. He was he was very vocal about how he was
Yeah.
disappointed not only himself, but he thought the offensive line as a whole. He was disappointed in the performance. And I whatever, like that's all fine and dandy for people to say that, but like, hey, I haven't heard an offensive lineman at Ole Miss say that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we all know how Kiffin can really get things going when he has a run game. And he likes to run the football. That's what's so weird about the whole Kiffin thing, and people talk about oh, he throws it all over the place. And look, Dart did that, and Matt Corral did that, but a lot of that is predicated by the run, and he likes to establish tempo with the run. I like look 1 game sample size, but Q and Lacey look better than anybody Ole Miss had last year. Damian Taylor looked better than anybody Ole Miss had last year. A healthy Logan Diggs is going to help you. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think Ole Miss runs the football, has a lot of success, and that's going to open things up. And to what you said, dude, I don't think Kentucky has anybody that can cover Harrison Wallace or Deshaun Stribling or Caden Lee. And dude, Daquan Wright. I mean, we
All
we
right.
we got to talk about him. The dude was an absolute monster in that game. So,
Deuce
um,
Alexander played well. Deuce Alexander had a good game.
yeah, oh yeah, and
Yeah.
using him in the run game was a nice wrinkle. Um,
Winnie Watkins came in, had a big catch.
yeah,
Uh, I
using Trinidad, little
Yeah,
gadget,
yeah. It was a
and
nice
look,
wrinkle.
I don't like relying on it too much because it can get predictable, but he's capable. So, um,
I think the wrinkle with him, and this is just literally just me guessing, dude talking on the podcast. The wrinkle with him now is going to be to let him throw out of that because I think he can. I think he can.
mm-hmm.
He's not just a running back. Like
Oh yeah,
the dude can throw the ball.
this is not Barry Bernetti.
Right, exactly. I'm not saying it comes this week. Again, I have no idea, but I think it will be interesting to. I think there's a chance we're going
Oh,
to catch somebody napping at some point and run a little
they
pop pass. Yeah,
he's got it. You know he's got it. Um, all right, let's get to the big one, and then we'll get to our picks. Michigan at Oklahoma, the one ranked on rank we got this week. I'm trying to find the time. There it is, 6:30 ABC. Number 15 Michigan, number 18 Oklahoma. We were talking about this a little before we hit record. I am leaning Michigan here. I think Bryce Underwood, look, he's going to have his speed bumps. He's going to have a game like Arch Manning had last week. I don't think it comes this week. I think Michigan's definitely been prepping for this one all summer. Um, I just don't trust Brent Venables to beat Michigan. I don't trust him to go toe to toe with Sharon Moore. All jokes aside, Sharon Moore's coached a lot of big football games.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I just don't buy John Mateer yet. I know people were just absolutely salivating after last week. Um, if anyone can go into the Palace and win, I think Michigan has the players. I think they're going to be more than up to the task in the trenches. That's kind of a thing like we were talking about with Ohio State, where it's like, man, they lost a lot, but they got dudes. Like Michigan's still going to have dudes. Um, yeah, I'm not going to lock it up or anything, but I like Michigan to cover, and I would probably take them outright.
I am going to lock it up. I want Michigan plus whatever you can give me. Is it five? It's a dead number, but
Let me see.
um, I guess give me the five.
I can get you 4.5.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right.
I echo everything you said, man, and I'll just add that I don't know if anybody watched him, but Underwood, he's a dude, man. The numbers don't jump off the screen for the box score, but watch him play. Watch the guy play. He's legit. And this may be blasphemy to Oklahoma fans. I think he's the better quarterback in this game. Mateer melted against every good team they played last year. Not even good team, every average team they played last year, average defense. Mateer was not the same dude that he was against Utah State or whoever, New Mexico State. He chewed up Mountain West competition. But when they played power conference teams, he wasn't a dude. He wasn't. I think Michigan is better on the lines of scrimmage. They're not going to be intimidated in this environment. They play in these environments. They have played in these environments,
Oh
high
yeah.
stakes games. The lights are not going to be too bright here.
No.
Um, I like them to turn this into a Big Ten game. As like I said with Illinois and Duke, I think Michigan is going to be able to do that. I think they'll be able to slow the pace. They're going to be able to ground Mateer in this high flying offense. And I think they're just going to try to grind one out, lean on their running backs, lean on their big quarterback. People talk about the mismatch with Oklahoma's defense against a freshman quarterback. I disagree there for one reason. Michigan's not running a sophisticated offense. They're going to line up and road grade. That's what they're going to do. And if it doesn't work, they're going to punt and play defense. Right? This is
Mm.
not. They're not. He's not. Underwood's not going to be asked to make 15 reads on every drop back. Like that's not going to happen. They're going to do what they do best, which is line up and play blue collar Big Ten football. I think their lines are better than Oklahoma's. I think Under was a better quarterback in the game. And to your point about Sharon Moore, man, all jokes aside, like you said, easy guy to kind of dunk on. But dude, he's coached in 2 years, 2.5 years. He's coached in some huge games,
Hmm.
giant moments, and been successful. He's surrounded by a really good staff. I just think we're buying the Oklahoma hype way too soon. They've done nothing to demonstrate that it's warranted. They're ranked what like top 15 in a couple polls. That's absurd to me. I don't
Yeah.
I don't what have they done to earn that the benefit of the doubt at this point? Uh so we'll see. But yeah, give me the Michigan 4.5.
Okay. I love it. Yeah, I'm talking myself more and more into it. Yeah, I think this is and look, it's a big moment for Oklahoma. And I
Mm-hmm.
think all the pressure is on the Sooners.
Mm-hmm.
Venables, you go out and get Mateer, you double down and get Arbuckle to come with him. A lot of pressure over there in Norman. All right, same time,
Just
6:30 ES.
revisiting just for a moment their game against Illinois State last week, like at the final score was I guess impressive enough, but they could not run the ball against Illinois State. Oklahoma couldn't. This Michigan defense is not Illinois State. If you can't establish the run against Illinois State, good luck against Michigan, man. Now they're going to be Michigan's going to be down a linebacker for what the first half after a targeting penalty last week.
Hmm.
Um, but that's one player. I don't think if Oklahoma's offensive line could establish the ground game against a pretty poor opponent last week, that they're going to be able to do it against this Michigan front.
All right, 6:30 ESPN2. We have got Mississippi State hosting Arizona State.
Yeah.
Arizona State coming in number 12 in the country.
And
I believe the line is still 6.5. Yep.
Arizona State coming in from hours away as well. They had to stay in Atlanta apparently to drive over for
That
the
okay. I
game.
knew they were a couple hour and a half, couple hours out.
I think they're in Birmingham, but
Okay.
that whole controversy is just fucking ridiculous.
Oh my God, shut up, Pete. Like, dude,
Yeah,
it's yeah, okay. Honestly, I was kind of thinking that Mississippi State could cover here and make a game out of it because look, I mean, Cam Scadaboo's gone, but I'm gonna trust Sam Levitt here, and I think Dillingham is gonna get it done. I'm not gonna lock it up. Part of me thinks that this could go under though.
interesting.
I feel like Levy's gonna try to play a little ball control and
Mm-hmm.
just try to play keep away to keep Levitt off the field.
Protect his defense. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if Mississippi State has a dude that can cover Jordan Tyson. Um,
they don't.
and he had 12 catches for 141 yards and two touchdowns a week ago after missing the Big 12 title game and the Peach Bowl last year when he got hurt. Um, yeah, this is for Arizona State and still hilarious that we still have to do this in 2025, but for some reason those idiots still get to bring artificial noisemakers into a stadium.
It's
They
ridiculous, dude. I know we're Ole Miss fans, but that's crazy.
No, yeah, I mean, Ole Miss, Egg Bowl aside, that's ridiculous. It's insane. Arizona State's got to get off to a hot start. You got to get those people sitting down on their hands. If they're loud and in the game, I mean, look, it's artificial, so of course it's going to be loud and annoying. Um, I might circle back here for a total, but I like the Sun Devils. But again, I think Mississippi State keeps it close. They're not good, but they're better.
They are better. And they pulled away from Southern last week. I mean, it was dicey early for them, but eventually the talent won out. State's just better than Southern on
Yeah.
virtually every position on the field. So maybe literally every position on the field. And eventually they pulled away. But I don't think that they're more talented than Arizona State in many, if any, positions. I went through Arizona State's roster. They've got a lot of transfers, man, from big time programs, Oklahoma, Texas. I mean, Arizona State's got some dudes who will not be intimidated in this environment. And we talked about that with Michigan and Oklahoma. This is not a Big 12 roster. Let me put it that way. from Arizona State. This is a lot of guys that have played at other programs, um, who've been in these environments before. It's a veteran roster. I mean, you go through their starting 22. It's like redshirt junior, grad transfer, senior, redshirt senior, top to bottom. Um, so here's the thing that concerns me. This line opened at 10, and it's been one way action on state. If you're a believer in line moves, if you're a believer that lines can tell a story, if I'm an Arizona State backer, I would be a little concerned by that
Hmm.
gigantic move right out of the gate. Travel is funky. I mean, I'm not, who cares about the Dillingham shit? But I think the point he was trying to make is it is a tricky travel spot getting from Tempe to fucking Starkville. I think that was
Yeah.
the point he was trying to illustrate. State fans got all pissed about it, but like, that's just true. It would have been true if he had said it of Oxford, that it had been, you
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
fly to
because
Memphis and drive down, you got whatever.
yeah, there's not a
Uh,
major airport. I mean, that was
yeah,
the whole like antithesis of his point was like
yeah,
it's not like you're playing in Atlanta or Jacksonville or Dallas. Like it's
exactly.
hard to get to.
Maybe he could have been more articulate, but guys, he didn't say Little Dewey's was shit. Like, relax. Uh,
Yeah.
so
And as an Ole Miss alum, I can admit that Little Dewey's is good. Okay, so
yeah,
everybody calm down.
so I don't know, man. It screams tight game, screams close game. Jeff Levy's emailing the fan base. They expect it to be packed. Everybody's going to have four cowbells each, I'm sure. Uh, Night game. They get to use their LED lights for the first time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But when you make a hype video for your LED lights, you know the environment is going to be lit, literally and figuratively. But I don't know, dude. As much as I would like Arizona State to blow State out, I don't know. The line tells me State's going to hang around.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be tight. I think it's gonna come down to Sam Levitt making plays.
Yep.
Um, I trust Sam Levitt to make plays, and I'm not even joking. I don't know who Mississippi State's quarterback is.
Mississippi State,
Who's their
Blake
quarterback?
Shapen,
He's still there?
still there, bro.
Oh my God, dude! I thought he was
Still there.
gone. That's
No,
I'm not even joking. That's not a bit. I did not know.
still there.
Um,
But look, State's they're going to have problems with this Arizona State defensive line because their offensive line was leaky against Southern for a long time in that game. They got it shored up eventually. But I think Arizona State is going to be able to get pressure on Chapin. Now, I think Levy's going to counter that with trying to establish the run game a little bit. State's got very capable running backs. So my guess is to support your point about the under that you made earlier, maybe that is the move here. Because if Levy is trying to run, play keep away a little bit, maybe Arizona State gets a little shook in this environment. Maybe it does go well under that 58 or 59, whatever were we, 59, 58 and a half, 58 and a half, 59. Yeah.
yeah,
So, I mean, you're asking for some points there.
yeah. All right, let's get into some picks here. Just real quick, I'll go ahead and rattle these off for you. For Nick, haven't heard from Ben yet, but for Nick, let's go ahead and get these on the docket. All right, Nick is coming out the gate firing. He has Texas Tech covering the 48 number against Kent State.
Jesus.
Um, that is true sicko. He also has the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State covering 6.5.
That's
And
interesting.
trying to see that's against Liberty.
Yeah.
Like that. Missouri, he is laying the points with Missouri against Kansas. Interesting. Interesting. Can't say I
I
agree
like that.
there, but I think Jalen Daniels is going to keep Kansas in it. I don't know. I don't know if Kansas will win, but we got to also remember Missouri's down to one quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a big injury last week. And look, man, that seemed to be a legit competition. I thought
Yeah,
Pravula was going to
they
be
were going to
the
split
guy.
it first half,
Yeah.
second half.
Yeah.
Um, and Missouri's offensive line was bad,
Yeah. Now, their
bad.
defensive line, I think, is going to eat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, defense was more than fine.
Yeah.
Um, he's laying 21 with Navy hosting UAB, who UAB
He dodged a
Woohoo!
bullet, man. Go
Oh,
for dead man walking.
oh yeah. Um, Nick is going back to the barrel, even though they didn't cash for him last week, but he's going with the Blue Hens covering 23.5 against Colorado.
That's interesting.
Jesus,
How could it go from backing Colorado against Georgia Tech to fading them against Delaware?
that's just classic Nick Carr right there.
Never let them know your next move, Nick.
And then finally, nightcap, he's got Hawaii, Sam Houston State going under 47.5. He must be thinking that this is a weird shootout, or Sam Houston's just not going to score and Hawaii just beats him by 4 touchdowns.
Is Hawaii's QB playing? Is he good? Is he good to go?
Did he get hurt?
He got hurt, against Stanford, and then I think he got banged up again last week.
Uh, what's his name?
That's a great
Micah
one.
Aliado.
Yeah, I don't know if I can spell it.
Let's see if there's anything on the
So
internet.
under,
Not wearing a boot on Wednesday, but
okay,
remains a non-participant in practice. Timmy
yeah.
Chang said on Tuesday the quarterback will be a game time decision. So that's could be
So
why he's going under.
yeah, exactly. Nick is thinking even if he plays, he's probably not going to be 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Touche, Nick. Um, Alrighty. For me, I'm going to go with let me find it here. Let's go with Indiana 35.5. Let me see what the total is. 52 and a
52 and a half.
half.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
You thinking they put up 50 by themselves?
Dude, I feel like Signetti's gonna do it.
See, I thought he was last week too, but they couldn't. They never could pull away.
See, I feel like he's gonna be pissed
Yeah.
and he's gonna want to put up a number. Um, Man, so we got first half totals 29 and a half.
Now they may go over that by themselves.
Yeah, because I don't know. I can't count on Kennesaw State.
No.
Let's go first quarter over 11 and a half.
So you're counting on Indiana to score 2 touchdowns in the first quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Man, that might be the move. I hit that with BYU last week.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, that number's weird because you could have Indiana just win 48 nothing and
Yeah.
then you don't hit the over.
You're still under. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, all
I don't
right.
think you're getting. I don't think you're getting much from Kennesaw.
No. Um, Ooh, I do have one that I feel pretty spunky about. Let me find it here. The number Louisiana Tech
Mm.
gonna cover 37 and a half for me.
I like it, man. If you hold your nose and hit the button, because LSU off that win, all they've heard about all week is how great they are.
Yeah.
They're a title contender, and now they get a team that half its players are probably from Louisiana, none of which had LSU offers. Yeah,
Yep. Exactly. Um, where I wanted to take New Mexico against Idaho State, but I don't see a line.
it's a FCS. Yeah, it's going to open
Yeah.
up later in the week.
Utah, Cal Poly, no. Um,
I'll give you one that's an FCS to watch
go
for.
go
It's
ahead.
not open yet, but Boise, whatever the number is, against Eastern Washington. This is not your big brothers, Eastern Washington. And Boise just lost to South Florida.
That's right, that's correct.
I think they're going to take out some frustration because this is kind of a rivalry, that neck
Hmm.
of the woods. I mean, I say rivalry, but you get my point. Like they've played each other over the years fairly often.
Yeah, sure.
And generally, Eastern Washington is a pretty competitive FCS program. They are not now. I think Boise wins by 40. So if it's 31 or less, lay it with Boise.
Yeah. All right. I'm also gonna lay 6.5 with Syracuse. Um, hosting UConn,
That's a
and
weird number.
it is, but I trust Fran Brown and Syracuse over UConn. Um, they played 4 times since 2016. Syracuse has won all 4 by at least 7 points and having an average margin of victory of 19 and a half.
Yeah.
Last year, now different team, but last year Syracuse diced them up pretty good. 470 yards through the air, no turnovers. Uh, The UConn quarterback is in his 7th year of college football and his 3rd at Connecticut, but he has yet to win a road game against a Power Four team. I like the Syracuse quarterback, the transfer from Notre Dame, Steve
Angeli.
Angeli. Yeah, five touchdowns, no interceptions. Last week, the Huskies defense, man, this is where I'm at. They gave up 311 yards per game in 24. That was compared to 161 at home. So they are ass on the road.
On the road, yeah.
I like the Cuse to get this one. So what
Dude,
else you
if they
got?
can't, if they don't beat UConn by a touchdown, oof, they're in for a long season.
I'm gonna be punching some wall in some bar in Lexington if that happens.
All right. You ready for?
Let's let's
All right,
get it.
look. Arkansas State. We're going over 62 and a half. Last week,
Ooh.
Alabama was it Alabama A&M. They moved the ball against Arkansas in the first half. I mean, like legitimately moved the ball. Arkansas finally woke up in the second half and pulled away. But I think Arkansas can get into the 40s here. I think Arkansas State could get into the 40s here. But let's call it like 42 to 20, 42 to 24, maybe, Arkansas. That gets me over 62 and a half.
Hmm. I like it. And
Uh,
it's not a real rivalry game, but Arkansas State wants it.
Absolutely. All right. We've already done Michigan. This one jumped off the screen to me, and look, I backed him last week to my regret, much to my regret. I'm going to do it again. Virginia Tech cannot be only -1 against Vanderbilt at home.
Yeah, what is that? What's
That
happening?
cannot. I know that Vandy beat them last year in Nashville. I understand, but they were first of all, Virginia Tech was breaking in, new coordinators. I think sort of a new offense, and they didn't know what to expect from the Vandy offense because that was Pavia's first,
That
I
was the
think
first
the
game.
yeah first game. So tell me if you've heard this before. This week or last week, Virginia Tech faced a quarterback who relies heavily on his legs and picks his shots downfield. Who does that sound like? This look like Sellers is a rich man's version of Diego Pavia, and
Yeah.
I think Virginia Tech did a decent enough job containing Sellers last week. They let Nick Harbor get behind them one time on a deep route, but that score was a little deceiving. South Carolina
Hmm.
had a punt return touchdown, and Virginia Tech had one or two red zone turn. They definitely had one red zone
Yeah.
turnover. I think they may have had two. I
And I
thought they
thought I,
acquitted.
I thought Virginia Tech's defense played solid.
I thought they did too, man. I thought they acquitted themselves pretty well against a more talented team in South Carolina. I just think the game got away from them late. Again, that punt return kind of broke their back. I don't think Vandy is much more talented than Virginia Tech. I just don't think that that's the case. I mean, maybe these rosters have flipped so much in the transfer portal era that I'm missing that, but I'm missing something on that. I don't know. But at Lane Stadium, you're laying one to Vanderbilt. Give me the Hokies.
Okay. Let's do some gambling math here. Vanderbilt's favored by 1. The total is 47 and a half.
Mm,
Like how? I,
yeah,
I'm going to jump in here with you. I think this might be the year you fade Vandy.
I do too.
There's so much film out now on Diego Pavia. I
I
don't know
agree.
if I they got the uh is the tight end's back. What's his name? Eli.
Stowers or whatever.
Yeah, he's good,
Yeah.
but like it's a tight end and he can't do it all.
Yeah,
And
he's a
he's
tight
and
end.
he's
Exactly.
not Brock Bowers. So
And they're not catching anybody slipping anymore.
no,
Nobody sees
no,
Vandy
no,
on the
no.
schedule and thinks, that's a cakewalk. We can sleepwalk through that one. Especially a team that they beat last year. They beat Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is going to have this one circled. And Virginia Tech just played against an upper tier SEC team. I think playing Vandy, I know it's still an SEC team, but come on, man. South Carolina's roster is significantly different than Vandy's. So I think for Virginia Tech, this is going to feel like the game slows down a little bit at home.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would probably also, just for the folks listening, I'd look at the under too. 47 and a half. I mean, dude, Brent Pry is going to want this one he's going to want this to be a rock fight.
Dude, if he loses this one, he may legitimately get fired midseason. Like it may be over.
Yeah, because he's put all of his eggs in the Kyron Drones basket, and I mean, I'm not going to bag on Kyron Drones. He's done some good things here and there, but yeah, he just hasn't done it. And
Yeah.
now
Dude,
it's been
he's
a
got
while.
talent.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a while since Virginia Tech's been Virginia Tech, but I mean, it's a
Yeah.
proud program. They're not going to
Yeah. I mean,
just
I
sit
mean
there
drone
and suck.
specifically. Yeah. I mean drone specifically. He's a talented kid. His decision making is horrific at times. I mean, it's horrific.
Hmm.
But he's got the arm, he's got legs. And I think another game in this system, they're breaking in a new coordinator, as I said. And there were moments against South Carolina where the plays were there to be made. Drones just didn't make them. I don't think that will be the case against Vandy at home. All right, next. I mentioned Toledo earlier, Western Kentucky at Toledo.
Hmm.
How is Western Kentucky catching a touchdown here? Give me Western Kentucky. I think the wrong team is favored. I,
Yeah, what's this about?
Toledo is awful offensively. Defensively, they're okay, but I think Western Kentucky's offense can put up points here. I don't know that Toledo can keep pace.
I'm also I'm also going to go ahead and lock in the money line here.
Yeah.
Plus 240. Yeah,
Yep.
wrong. I mean, this is like the definition of wrong team favorite here. What is
I
happening?
don't understand it. Yeah. And generally, we know how that works. We end up looking like idiots afterward. But
Yeah.
I just, based on what I've seen, again, small sample size, I get that. Western Kentucky can at least score. Toledo can't.
Um, you got another one?
Yeah. One more. And this again, you end up either looking like a genius or looking like a fool afterward. Utah State plus 31 in the hook at Texas A&M. Texas A&M did
31 and a
not,
hook.
yeah, did not look great last week. Um, they're not built to blow teams out, especially teams that are competent and competently coached.
Hmm.
And Bronco Mendenhall is at Utah State now. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be hard nosed. They're not going to quit. So this is one of those games where if they're down, 45-10 or whatever in the fourth, like they will keep trying to score for some pride
Hmm.
and
Oh yeah.
finish the game, 45-17 or whatever, and you cover. Um, so yeah, give me Utah State 31 and a half. I just think you're asking four scores plus there.
Hmm.
A&M's
Yeah.
not built to do that to many teams.
All right. Are you done? No more?
Yeah.
All right. I got one last sicko here. And this one's weird. I'm taking Houston minus 13 and a half against Rice. This is purely out of principle just because of this box score being insane. So Rice beat Louisiana last week 14-12. The Rice quarterback threw the ball 9 times.
They're basically the triple option now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, we talked about it on the show last week. They are fully immersed into the double wing, flex bone, all that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, give me Houston. You got Connor Wegman. I think Connor Wegman can beat Rice by 2 touchdowns. I mean, this is a Houston team that scored what 27 against Stephen F. Austin. Whatever, just a The tight end, the Tanner Koziel kid at Houston's pretty solid.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, give me the Cougs, man. I think I don't know. This just feels weird. Like why? Like you got to beat a triple option team by 2 scores.
Agree.
So
You got to also think Rice is feeling pretty satisfied with themselves after that W last week. This is not a program that's often in the position of winning as a double digit dog.
no,
So,
yeah,
you know,
that's because I was on Louisiana last week.
yeah. So you got to think they're probably pretty satisfied with themselves. And this
Yeah. Oh
week,
yeah.
the team with the far superior roster is going to roll them.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
That'll
let's do a
do
couple. You got
it.
some money lines? You want to do some money lines?
Oh yeah, yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Let's see. Do you have any right off the bat?
I got one relatively high conviction one, and then the other is just kind of a dart throw. I think Fresno State might be better than Oregon State. I argued with Nick last week about Fresno State. He was right. I was wrong. But I watched Oregon State play, and their cheeks, man, they are bad. They're bad. I don't know that their roster is any better than Fresno State's. I know it's in Oregon State, but they got clapped last week. Home field advantage didn't seem to matter at all. So give me the Bulldogs plus 124. And then only because it would be, well, not only, largely because it would be hilarious. Give me the South Florida Bulls
I'm doing the same thing.
plus 594 is
I can
what I
get you.
see.
I can get you 600.
Let's take it. 600. I'm just going to say this, man. South Florida does not lack for athletes. Are,
No,
are Florida's athletes better? Yeah, probably in a lot of positions they are. But South Florida has a really athletic quarterback. They got really athletic receivers in a scheme that allows you to cook if you've got those two things. So if Florida stumbles here, has a couple turnovers, slips out of the gate, South Florida may put up a number.
and look, what's coming around that corner next week for Florida?
Exactly. Great spot.
LSU.
Great spot here for South Florida.
So I love it. Yeah, I immediately saw it and I was like,
Yeah.
maybe could
Yeah.
happen.
It's a dart throw. I'm not saying, I'm certainly not like predicting it, but
No, but it also
it,
it wouldn't be crazy.
no. Look, this is another case of a team where most of the athletes on its roster did not get offers to play at the home state school. That extra little motivation with Florida having LSU on deck.
Yeah.
I could be sleepy for Florida.
Oh yeah. All right. That'll do it. Week 2, hit that line edition. Appreciate everybody tuning in. It was a 2-man band this week as the others were on the mend, but we will recap Ben's picks. I'm sure he'll get them to us at some point. We'll recap that next week. But yeah, enjoy week 2, and we will be back to talk to y'all next week. So for Austin over there, I'm Zach. Appreciate y'all. We out of here.